I get the hire. I like the hire from San Francisco's point of view. Of course, I think, you don't have to worry about the players playing tough, or hard for Salah. They love
True.
him, they respect him. Great guy. So, you don't have to worry about like weird Wilkes kind of stuff going on with like whether players are buying in and that sort of thing.
That was so
Uh,
weird the whole time.
that was
Yes. Yeah.
so weird. I guess though, but Salah's like kind of your boy. Like you have a relationship with him
Mhm.
a little bit. I'm kind of curious because to me it's weird that Salah would take this job, kind of for me.
That's what
Just
I think. And he hasn't taken it yet, but I'm kind of like, I was like, really? Are you
yeah,
sure? Yeah.
it's like to me it only makes sense if he has basically gotten to a point where like, look, I tried being a head coach, I fucking hated it. Sorry, excuse my language.
Sorry.
I tried being a head coach, I hated it. Like I don't
I don't
want to
get
go.
that vibe from him.
No, okay, yeah,
No.
that's what I was gonna
Yeah.
ask you. So
No, I
you
don't get
think,
that. He seems like he's really holding out for these jobs, and he's trying to make the best case possible. I think he thought he was going to get that Jacksonville job.
yeah,
So, I mean, it seems to me that from Dallas's perspective, I still think he'd be one of the better candidates out there.
yeah,
Um, really. And
yeah,
from
I don't.
Detroit's perspective, I think Salah's better than Aaron Glenn. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, I guess, and I mean, I personally felt like Cincinnati was the dream job for any D coordinator because I just think that, that I think they should have been like a 12-win team last year. They kind of got going at the end. Any D coordinator that's going to go in there, not going to take, a mediocre D on that team gets you to the playoffs
You know what the
easy.
problem is with Cincinnati though?
Huh.
Cheap, cheap organization. They won't pay
Oh,
you,
really?
and they won't
Really?
they won't give you resources. They're notoriously cheap. I don't even think they pay for their own
Yeah.
scouting department. I don't think they have scouts.
Yeah.
I forgot.
I guess it just seems weird, it just seems like there was better or safer options for somebody whose plan was to later become a head coach again, as
Yeah.
opposed to most money right now. Obviously, you get that, but even if they do turn around, like how much credit is Solid going to get for that as opposed to Kyle and Lynch and, basically
Also,
going
this.
back?
How about this, Flav? So he's getting head coaching consideration coming off a disastrous year and a disastrous campaign with the Jets. Let's say he comes back to the Niners and does well, and the Niners have a top 10 defense. They go to the playoffs. Won't he be even more in demand next year? Aren't the Niners potentially putting themselves in a position where they have to get another defensive coordinator for the fourth year in a row?
Yeah. No, that's well, that's another good point.
It's a good problem to have, but it's a problem.
Yeah. Yeah. I would say and I was kind of talking to Jesse about this last night because I just I'm again, I don't have high expectations, not because of Salah. I think it's a great hire, but just the personnel is not what it was the last time he was here. It's not what he
Not even
was
close.
when he was good with the Jets. And, I'm interested in seeing like,
They had Quinn Williams over there. What's he got now over here? Malik Collins.
right. It's
Yeah.
gonna they can't stop the run right now. And
Nah.
so and they can't get to the quarterback really either. They can't
Other
uh
than that,
yeah. Well, and so that gets me to like kind of my point though with Purdy. I like Purdy. I like him a lot more around 50 million than 60 million. I'm kind of getting nervous about that, just hearing stuff. But to me, like a lot's made about, oh, Purdy's weapons. If you pay him, he's not gonna have the weapons. Like that's not that big of a deal to me. Like that's supposedly why you have Shanahan is
mm-hmm.
to kind of deal with that. But I do think with a quarterback like Purdy, you need like a top seven defense.
Defense.
Yeah, you need a top 70 because
Because you
Purdy's
don't want
just
him throwing 35 passes. You just
right.
don't. Yeah.
And he's not that dude, and Shanahan's not that dude.
Correct.
Shanahan is all about the run,
Mm-hmm.
and so you're not gonna be able to outduel teams that are scoring
Consistently.
in every 5 minutes. Like it's just
No.
not gonna happen. So I think that they're gonna focus heavily on the defense again. That's what I would do, given what's already in place. Is you got to figure out how to stop the run and get to the quarterback and get back to some semblance of 2019 to whatever, to where you got to put up 25 points a game and you're probably going to win that game.
Yeah.
If you
At
are
one point
not
with this team, if they scored 20, they were good.
right, if you
Yeah.
can get back there, awesome. And that's where my focus would be, as opposed to, oh, we need to get Brock these weapons and that sort of thing. Like Kyle should be able to scheme up 25 points a game.
Well, here's my question for you though. I feel like most people agree in round one that they should go trenches. Do
Mhm.
you think they should go O-line or D-line if the players there are graded in a similarly?
This is what kind of sucks is like, do they have too many holes to possibly fill in one off season?
Maybe they've put
Yeah.
themselves in a bad spot.
Like, is it even possible? But I would focus completely on the D
Hmm.
and Kyle. I think he's built his you know offense around not having a good O line, and the thing is. You're playing. The reason why you can't come back in the fourth quarter is because as soon as the defense knows you're going to pass and you don't
It's over.
have the threat of the run, you're done with that O
Yeah.
line.
Yep.
And so, you're going to keep having to play that game. But to me, it's like if you don't have a top 10, top 7 D, we're done. We're done. Because we don't have a Burrow or that kind of guy that
Yeah.
could just sit back and tear you apart. So,
Yep.
anyways, man, we'll see what happens. They got a lot of work to do. Hopefully, they need a lot of good luck with health and a lot of they need a hit. I feel like they had a good draft last year. I mean, a lot of those guys are pretty damn good. Seems like
Absolutely. But if they've taken a
so.
defensive tackle in round one this year, they've had some
Yeah,
issues with that. So let's see if they can get it
yeah.
right. Bring back
All right.
Kinlaw, baby. Clay, good
Yeah.
to see
Got
you
later, buddy.
later. They just might bring back Kinlaw. Just when I thought I was out of the woods.